Hey guys, I just want to spend a few minutes showing you a little movement prep routine that we can do that can really work the stability of our shoulder and the stability of our hip, knees, and ankles. So a lot of times to get a joint moving properly, everyone thinks of it as purely flexibility. But remember, it's this balance of flexibility and stability that makes us usable. So if we are capable of getting into the in-range positions that we're looking for, but we don't have the stability to hold these positions, then the joint can kind of jump around and move around, and the muscles that we're firing can change over and over again. So really what we're looking for is a way to tie in everything we've learned and prep us for a workout and fire the muscles in the right way. So we're going to use the bottom-up kettlebell press, and we're going to use a one-legged deadlift to kind of show these things. So first, let's just review body position. Draw your lower abs in, Kegel, squeeze your butt cheeks, twist your feet on the floor, ribcage down, stand tall. Shoulders are going to be back in their sockets, and we're going to create a little rotation there. So the key, just like everything, is it's not about just doing these exercises. I see people do this stuff all the time, and they're doing the right exercise, but it's really the purpose behind these things and why we're doing them. That's what has all the benefit. So we're going to start with the bottom-up kettlebell press, and the main thing we're really going to focus on is when I'm holding this kettlebell here, am I engaging these muscles back here and trying to create that rotation into the kettlebell. So I'm going to pick the kettlebell up, and I'm going to put the bottom of it facing up. So now it can be a little bit wobbly for me. So that shoulder is back, I'm drawing in. Remember, we can't have true shoulder stability without core stability. So we should be drawn in, butt tight, Kegel, twisting your feet, ribcage down, standing tall, engaging that shoulder. So notice my hand's not out. This isn't looking like I'm holding onto a barbell, because that would be this bad shoulder position. What it feels like is I'm doing what I would do with a barbell, and I would create that torque and rotation in that shoulder to hold it in a good place. From here, I'm going to keep everything nice and tight, and I'm going to press that up and then come back down. So what am I doing when the kettlebell is up? Belly button drawn in, Kegel, butt cheeks tight, twisting my feet, ribcage down, standing tall. That shoulder's back in its socket, and I'm creating that rotation. So what I like to think and how I like to cue it is I try and focus on the tip of that elbow facing forward the entire time. So when I'm doing stuff like this, I like to do about 6 on each side, nice and tight as I go. So 6 on each side. Then I'm going to move on to the one-legged deadlifts. So remember, we have different variations, and whenever people start doing one-legged deadlifts, they typically will do stiff-legged deadlifts. So from the side, a stiff-legged deadlift with 2 feet, I'm going to keep my knees almost locked out, not quite, and I'm just going to go as low as I can and come up. We really want to work the motor patterns that we use a lot. So the standard deadlift, so I'm going to create that back angle, but then I'm really going to squat down into it a little bit more. So as we're doing these one-legged deadlifts, we're looking for stability, but we're also looking for us using and creating the motor pattern that we use over and over and over again. So you're going to start just by holding the kettlebell in one hand, whatever hand you're holding it in. We're going to balance on that way. We can change it up and do it with the opposite hand. We can do it with both of them. Just like the bottom-up kettlebell press, we could do both here. So we're going to start same arm, same leg, shoulder back, creating that rotation. I'm going to balance, butt tight, belly button drawn in. Here the focus goes on balance of the feet. So I'm going to send, my hips are going to rotate towards my foot a little bit, and I'm going to send my back trailing foot kind of off to my left side a little bit. So as I go down, I'm just working on balancing, 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 going as low as I can, and then come back up. Notice I didn't go all the way to the ground. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go as low as I possibly can. There's the ground, without surrendering anything. So we're not making the goal go to the ground, even though that is ultimately our goal, to be able to go to the ground. The goal in this is for you to go as low as you can possibly go in a perfect position. And what we start seeing is when we make the goal the ground, we start coming down and we see people reach with that shoulder and rotate that hip out just to get there. So the goal is not the ground. The goal is perfect position as close to the ground as you can. And if you can get to the ground, great. So nice and balanced. If you need to pause to get that balance, draw everything in. We're going to go as low as you can go, and then we're going to come back up. 6 on each leg. So what I typically like to do is I'll start with the light kettlebell, 6 bottom-up presses on each side, 6 on each leg, and then I'll progress up, and I do about 3 rounds of that, progressing up in weight. Another thing we can do, some variations here, is I can get into a lunge position, everything nice and tight, and get in that same bottom-up kettlebell. I can switch which arms I'm doing as I do it. With the one-legged deadlifts, I can use a barbell, I can use dumbbells, I can use a lot of different implements. So this is great warming up, especially for days when we're going to do stuff like farmer carry, we're going to do overhead walks, getting ready for snatches, getting ready for squats. Really, this is a pretty versatile movement prep that we can do for just about any day. But if you're bored and you're trying to come up with what to do with the class or yourself before a day that has a lot of awkward positions, then that's when I like to throw in the stability of the shoulder, stability of the hip, and start putting in the people in these more awkward but controlled positions. All right, enjoy.